Now that most of the anime have premiered for the spring 2023 season, the members of the committee have gathered to burn the midnight oil to bring this tier list. We have 30 different anime here, whether they be new or continuations. They each premiered a new season during the spring 2023 timeframe. Like if you like the video, dislike if you don't. Let me know what you agree or disagree with below. All tiers have a 5 anime limit. Each tier is ordered left to right, and this is not a projection of what will be the best. The criteria is if the Men in Black Minesweeper came in and I had to remove one to rewatch it, which would I choose? Or if I could recommend one, which order would I go in? So let's start at the bottom. We start with a throw it away tier. Only one in this tier, and it's the Cafe Terrace and its goddesses. I was originally going to make a video on it, but it's just pure fan service and poorly written characters. Onto the D for drop tier. This doesn't mean you should drop these anime, just if you had to, these might be the first to go. We have Summon to Another World for a second time. This one was just boring. Nothing about the character, world, or animation stood out. The character designs were subpar, and the isekai again only made it so that the main character was overpowered faster. Next is My Love Story with Yamada-kun at level 999. The animation was good, but I disliked the portrayal of Akane. They made her too needy and just an annoying character, while the knight in shining armor is too dull. They will probably balance each other out at some point, but Akane made the beginning hard to watch, as these characters are on two extremes and I just couldn't get into it. Next up is Kamikuchi, working for God in a godless world. The beginning has some funny comedic moments, but I have no desire to root for the characters or even want some on the screen more than others. The main character was fine overall, but the supporting cast was quite weak. My one-hit kill sister. The animation was very good in this one, but with a cliche plot and this whole sister love thing, it's hard for me to have it higher. The animation is the only reason I even have it this high. And finally, Otaku Elf. I actually didn't mind this one, I just think the anime above it are better. Koito is cute and I can understand what they were going with for Elda, but this is one of those anime that needs more time to ramp up and doesn't have a premiere that will blow you out of the water. Moving right along to C tier. Decent shows, but I wouldn't be mad if you skipped out on them. Here we have The Aristocrat's Otherworldly Adventure. This is just my isekai love carrying this. The premiere wasn't great, but as an isekai fan, having all that magic and seeing the growth of the character falls right in line with what I want in isekai. Not mad at anyone for skipping it, but an enjoyable watch. The Danger in My Heart. This was also a nice romance. The main character is fake I want to kill you but is actually kind. Them being kind when they don't need to leads to some decent comedy, and the main love interest has a pretty funny introduction. Unfortunately, romance anime will have a harder time this premiere, but for this one the comedic bits were just meh, and the characters can get pretty annoying after a while. I don't see this one going any higher. Now we have Too Cute Crisis. An alien finding out animals are adorable was a pleasure to see. A nice relaxing chill anime with an interesting art style that is quite memorable. The characters all seem ridiculous as it isn't taking anything too seriously, but the finding things too cute might get old, although it was adorable for the first episode. Up next is I Got a Cheat Skill in Another World. The premiere had some awesome animated moments. An isekai that you can go between worlds is also interesting, but it was a lot of menus and it was too cliche to have it higher. Rounding us out here is A Galaxy Next Door. This wholesome anime was pretty cute. Watching them make manga and the interaction with the siblings has it this high. If it wasn't for the tier limits, this would be higher, but unfortunately it couldn't beat out the other contenders. Even the sister was more interesting than the main characters of the show. Onto the B tier for some of the best. Now we have A Legendary Hero is Dead. This is trash, but it's funny, as it takes nothing seriously and doubles down on comedic moments. It's hard not to laugh at how ridiculous it is. For that first episode, it was pretty entertaining. I can definitely see this plummeting as time goes on, but I laughed too much to have it lower. Up next, Magical Destroyers. Can't say I like the main character. The art style was good and has some great animated moments. I think the plot, although absurd, is actually interesting and can lead to some awesome showdowns. I can easily see this skyrocketing as it has more time to flesh out the characters. We have Skip and Loafer. This is a nice romance anime. Iwakura is definitely relatable and an interesting character. Seeing their romance blossom will be nice, and what has it this high is definitely Iwakura being a main character many can relate to, but most importantly root for and want to see more of. Iwakura is hilarious and such an awkward character, but not awkward that makes you cringe. Now we have Rokudo's Bad Girls. This premiere was great. The art style might not be for everyone, but the main character and his friends are hilarious. We see the potential for the main character's growth, although he isn't my favorite. The side characters do a great job of propping the episode up. What carries the show is really the comedic moments between Rokudo and his friends, along with Rana, our main girl. Rounding us out is the second season of Mobile Suit Gundam, The Witch from Mercury. Starting off with one Funimation and continuing the great story, as the plot thickens from the previous season, and introducing us to older characters in a new setting, setting up a sense of urgency from the beginning. Now we get into the cream of the crop, as we have A for already watching. Ranking of Kings starts us off. Although it's just side stories, we got our boy Boji back and some heartfelt stories. Expanding the world and tugging on some heartstrings. It would have been higher if it was part of the main story, as I can't say it set anything up for the future, but instead gave us a bit more insight into our favorite characters. The last romance, we have Insomniacs After School. With decent comedic moments and nice romance, this one is worthy of its place. This one would be higher if it were not for the main character, as he is bland in the beginning. Thankfully, the potential love interest really carries the interactions, as she is adorable and makes the episode exciting, being the catalyst for what happens in the show. Onto sports. Birdie Wing Golf Girl story. You wouldn't have been able to tell it was a premiere, as it felt just a continuation of season 1. We have a revenge plot, great animated golf moments, and it ends with the beginning of some history. It was a great episode for anyone that liked season 1. Ancient Magus' Bride. A slow premiere, but I think it did a wonderful job of refreshing our minds of what happened while setting up the next season. Whether it be Chise and Elias talking things out, showing their growth, or Chise feeling the nerves from school. It reminds you who these characters are, where they came from, while keeping you excited for what's to come. A absolute stellar premiere. Only reason it's not higher is that it is on the slower side. Rounding us off, we have Mashle, Magic, and Muscles. I struggled with this one in Hell's Paradise, but unfortunately Hell's Paradise did have a slightly more interesting premiere. The premiere didn't showcase Mashle's personality too much, though where the comedic moments are more than enough to make up for it. It's in this spot due to Mashle being a simple character, so it needs these comedic moments and side characters to shine, and the premiere did not show those strengths. Thankfully, the interesting plot and world and great animation boost this up. Now the top of the tier, S tier. You probably already know we have Hell's Paradise. They give enough backstory to the main character that you're intrigued and root for them. Introduce some awesome side characters. You can already see their interaction with the main character will be enjoyable. Add some great fighting sequences with good animation, and this one is a banger. Up next is Dr. Stone. New inventions, setting up the purpose of the season. It was a good premiere, reintroducing us to characters we already like and showing more of the surrounding of the village, giving us an understanding of what they need for their journey and making steps to get there. My Home Hero is up now. This one came out of nowhere for me. It's a thriller that gripped me. They do a great job of gaining your sympathy and introducing the characters as well as their motives. The only reason this isn't higher is that the animation can be lacking at times, and the thriller like this does need more episodes to get started. This is probably lower for most people, but this definitely stands out as one of my favorite. Now we have Tengoku Daimakyo, or Heavenly Delusion. The first episode was elite. We had an interesting story of a bodyguard and an athletic boy in this post-apocalyptic world. The characters were funny and the world was mysterious enough to keep us curious as to what's going on. Add some great animation and good action. I couldn't wait for the next episode. Only thing holding it back was the pace was often interrupted, and it's only on Hulu because Disney. Finally round out S tier was the best premiere of the season, Dead Mount Death Play. Let's start with the negatives first. We had some questionable animation with Corpse God, and the characters didn't get enough time to shine. Other than that, it was absolutely amazing. We had great action overall, the animation was fantastic minus that one part, and we had multiple twists that if you went to this anime without knowing anything, will leave you with your mouth open. Combine this with a comedic moment or two, this is worthy of taking the top spot. But you may be wondering, top spot? I see another tier. I put these two in their own tiers since they had more runtime, and the comparison isn't one-to-one. Yeah, premieres for returning anime and new isn't fair, but that's close enough, as double or triple the runtime is not. But both of these were incredibly worthy of the long runtime, and I can't recommend them enough. Demon Slayer did a great job of giving us a ton of information on the demons, showing their faces and some anger from Muzan, as well as giving us some great moments with familiar characters and setting up the next arc. It's a guaranteed banger. And finally we have Oshinoko. It was an entire movie, and it had everything a movie needed. Motivation, twist, tears, and some stellar animation, interesting plot and characters. We might just have the best anime this season right here, but we'll have to wait and see. If you're interested in making your own list, I'll leave this in the description. If you don't see an anime here you're loving, let me know in the comments below. I didn't give too much of an overview for each anime as it would be too long, but if there's anything you are interested in here or haven't heard about, I have a video on its premiere out on my channel already. Quickly, here are the tier list with just the new anime and what I think would be the best anime at the end of the season. This is an anime disrobed, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Like if you did and dislike if you didn't. Subscribe for anything anime and gaming. Adding the limit for each tier makes this more exciting. I can argue some of the anime in A tier can be an S, and likewise with some other tiers. I will update this list with a 3-episode snapshot and then end of season list, so subscribe to see that. This is an anime disrobed, and the spring 2023 premieres have officially been disrobed.